about the Titans here. The Titans.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone. It is gone. It is Bedlam at the bank.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe. Go follow.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with Eric, Brendan, Dalt, and Ballpark Tommy. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today. Let's take it to the show.
I figured it was coming eventually. It's here. We're going to just take it and run with it. But Phillies' first loss, absolutely just terrible outing, both on the pitching and on the batting. Just nobody could get going. Aaron Nola looked absolutely terrible, like he was in midseason form. The Phillies, again, midseason form, 9 runners left in scoring position. They could have easily won this game had they had the bats, but I don't know, man. They just looked like typical Phillies, but got some people on with me today. Got Dalt and Gavin. What's up, gentlemen?
How you doing?
I'm
hanging in there. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm hanging in there. Like, I said this from the beginning, and you guys can be my witnesses, but I said from the beginning, I'm not really high on the Phillies this season. I'm not. So it's kind of like when we do these shows where we lose now, my energy this season compared to last season, like last season, I would crash out, I would just crash out. But like this season, it's just kind of like it's expected at this point. And I've kind of come to learn that, after the Phillies have a game where they put up 10 or more runs, like yesterday they put up 11, the game after they just shit the bed. So it's like, it's just, I don't know.
I don't know if you remember earlier in the season last year too, Shard. It was one of the things that I said is it's a long year. You got 160 games. So I want this team to try and get as many wins, get as many in the W column as they can early in the year. Like when you can go out and get a series sweep and it's that close, that should be really the ones that eat at you like this. Like a team like the Nationals that struggles isn't the team that they were years ago. So for the Phillies, they really should be kicking themselves that you said it, 8 runners in scoring position and they didn't get the job done. They had the hits. They just couldn't connect all the dots today. But that's been the story for the Phillies throughout the years. That's why Shardy said, I'm not going to crash out. It's just expected. It's more, I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. And I get it. I mean, with this Phillies team, we expect a lot. The Eagles are really the golden child of Philadelphia right now. And if you look at everybody else, college sports included, none of them have made March Madness anytime soon. That was something that they brought up on WIP this morning when I was listening. That's a really good point. The Phillies have an immense amount of pressure on them right now. It's not like the freaking Flyers or Sixers are going to do anything to make us proud, right? Flyers haven't even made the playoffs since 2018, I think, or the COVID year. So the Phillies have a real immense amount of pressure. Like, if they don't even make the World Series this year, it's a letdown for people like Sharp, for people like Ballpark Tommy, for people like Brendan, people even like me, because we know what this team's capable of. So it's a real make or break year. But I'll say they started off the overall series in a great way. I'm glad that they got the W. They came out and finished the job. But overall, what I want to see from this Phillies team is, like, find a way to win. You got to get these series, like, sweeps when you can. And I really wanted to use that sweep video. Just saying. You're muted, Shardy.
Yeah, I see that now. But you've been holding on to that sweep video for a while. But I just like Moose said here, I mean, the Braves are 0-3 right now. They haven't won a game yet, and you got to take advantage of that. But also, it's like to kind of add on to the Moose's point. Two things. One, your NL East, you're defending champs. Like you won this, you won the division last year. Granted, like after reflecting on it, it's probably kind of a Mickey Mouse win in a sense because I mean, the Braves were injured as hell. The Nationals aren't good. The Marlins aren't good. The Mets got hot towards the end of the year. They gave us a run for our money. But like, I just feel like our division win last year, in some aspects, was kind of just handed to us on a silver platter. Granted, like the Phillies were good last year. They were good. Don't get me wrong. They earned their division win. But if you want to defend that, this is not the way to do it. It's not. And the Eagles are the trendsetters. You know, they are the guys that you want to look up to in the city. But I do think this. I think, you know, if the Phillies, like you were just saying, Dalt, if the Phillies do fall short, am I going to be disappointed? Add on to the Mooses. Am I kind of just like, am I at the point where it's kind of expected? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to crash out over it. Like I said earlier, like, I'm kind of at the point where whatever happens, happens. We're along for the ride and we'll go from there. But I don't know. Like 2 out of 3 isn't bad. Like Jordan said, I wish we could have put up more runs. I mean, our nickname is the Fightins for a reason. And it just felt like today they didn't do that. They didn't fight at all.
Fightless Phils.
Fightless Phils. Yeah. So I just like, we'll see. And I think that's another thing too, Moose, is like the Phillies jumped out of the gate last year and then fizzled second half. So if they can switch it this year to where, you know, I'll take a slow beginning to the season if they can get hot in Red October.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, let's get into our topics. First thing I want to talk about is Aaron Nola looking like he's in midseason form as usual. He just did not look himself. He looked like he was just mid-season form. Looking at his stats, I have him pulled up here. He went 5.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, which is like great on that end for the strikeout end. But let up 2 home runs, and his ERA is sitting at an 8.44 right now. I knew in the bottom of the 4th, as soon as Josh Bell came up to the plate, because Josh Bell has, I think in MLB, the most home runs against a single team out of any player. He has like 17 home runs against the Phillies, which is the most any player has against one single team. Josh Bell just absolutely kills us every time he faces us, regardless of what team he was on. Because I think, Gavin, he was on the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah, he was on the Diamondbacks last year.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, it was 2 outs. You needed 1 more out to get out of the inning, and what does Aaron Nola do? Let up a home run. So that makes it 3-0. And then bottom of the 6th, Nathaniel Lowe comes on. 3-2 count. Again, you need 1 more strike, 1 out. And Aaron Nola he lets up another home run. So Aaron Nola just loves serving meatballs. If you go to watch him pitch at the bank, make sure you bring your sub rolls because you are guaranteed to have a meatball sub. But I just like, I don't know, man. After watching the last 2 days of phenomenal pitching, this was just disappointing. It's just disappointing.
Gab, I mean, I'll let you take it before me. Do you think he has an expiration date? You think it's just getting to the point of where he's too old?
So with Aaron Nola, I mean, this is all expected. I mean, I remember watching him years and years ago, and it's the same old Nola, respectfully. I don't hate Aaron Nola as a pitcher. I think he's a decent pitcher. He eats a lot of innings up. He is honestly pretty consistent through the season. It's just a shame. You know, no one likes losing to a team that you're better than. No one likes it. With that being said, though, him giving up 5 runs sucks, but they didn't hit for him at all. They did not hit. So I'm kind of looking at it as, well, we didn't hit for our pitcher. So I could be mad at Nola, but at the same time, we just didn't hit. So with Nola, hopefully, his confidence isn't taking a turn for the worse. It's only, the third game of the season. There's 159 games left. Let's take a chill pill. Let's process this. And tomorrow, let's go to the bank and beat the Rockies.
Christopher Sanchez, dark horse, man. I'm pumped for Christopher Sanchez tomorrow.
You gotta take that bet, man.
I'm gonna take my catchphrase of knock on wood and do that now. But like I swear, man, I just think he's gonna come out like lights out. And they play the Rockies tomorrow, which could go either way. But I really think that he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. But kind of building off of what you said, Gavin, I mean, I can't fully fault Nola. I can fault him maybe like 60, 70% because the other percentage does fall on the offense. The pitcher can only do so much when your offense is not batting behind you. So it is what it is. But at this point, every time Nola goes out, I'm expecting at least one or two nukes to somewhere in the park. We don't have any stars of the game because I just feel like nobody was really a star today. But batting report, I guess we'll get into that next, and then we'll get into the losers. Everybody just sucked at the bat or at the plate today. Just absolutely abysmal batting. Going through the lineup, Schwarber struck out once. He was 1 for 4. Bohm, we're going to get into that in a second because he absolutely irritated me today. And of course, threw temper tantrums like a little child. I'm going to get into that in a second because I have a whole entire rant for that. But Bohm 0 for 4, or sorry, 0 for 5. That's even worse. Harper, 1 strikeout, 1 for 4. Caskey, 1 for 4. No, 1 for 3, sorry. He was 1 for 3 with 1 walk. Stott, 0 for 4. Sosa, 2 for 4. Marsh, 1 for 2. He had 2 walks and 1 strikeout. Sosa had 2 strikeouts. Rojas, 1 for 3. Clemens, he was walked, so he's 0 for 0. Marchand, 1 for 4. So overall, 8 hits at 33 at-bats, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts total. So the strikeout rate is down today. It's not as high as it has been, but just batting looked absolutely terrible. And I don't know if it's the same issue as Thursday because Nationals Park absolutely sucks when it comes to the shadows. Like their shadows, for whatever reason, when it's sunny out, it's just terrible. I've heard a lot of friends that have gone to Nationals Park give that as the excuse. So I don't know. I've never been to Nationals Park. I've only ever been to Camden Yards, CBP, and Shitty Field. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to the Commander Stadium though in June. So we'll see. If I can see the National Stadium, I'll let you know. But we'll see. Gavin, what did you think of the batting today? And like what do you think needs to improve?
Well, the batting was disappointing. You made that point clear already. Batting did not live up to expectation. Bohm, I'm a Bohm hater, so Bohm is just. Hopefully, he can get back to his form from last season at the first half. If he can get back to that whole 1 through 4 is going to be amazing. But again, like I said, guys, it's third game of the season. Okay, we got to get in the groove. It's going to take some time. Most importantly, we won the series. Okay, that's the most important part, that we won the series. So we just had to live off of that and just continue to do whatever they need to do with hitting. They just need to stay patient at the plate. Don't swing at the first pitch. Stay patient. Take the first pitch and just work up a count. If they can do that and get into the pitcher's head, that's their advantage there.
Yeah, I just like this is going to lead us into our losers of the game because obviously like the whole team was kind of losers today, but there's one guy in particular, Alec Bohm, that I want to kind of point out. But like why are you coming to the plate with bases loaded and 1 out and you're swinging at the first pitch? Like why? You got to take at least a pitch or two or see if you can draw a walk and run a run a walk in. Like, I don't understand because he did it multiple times today. He's taking the first pitch and he's not seeing pitches. So it's just like I don't understand his whatever you want to call it, his attitude, because like he throws a temper tantrum like a little baby, but then you're sitting here taking the first pitch and getting mad at that. Granted, some of the hits he had, yes, they were decent hits. Like you had hits out to the warning track, almost out to the wall, almost gone. Sure, I'll give you that, man. Like I'll give you that. But again, really bad discipline at the plate, like Moose said here. So I just some guys at the plate this year are really showing that they've kind of stepped that chase rate down and taken some walks, and other guys are just not. They're not.
I'll say this too. I got to give credit to Caveman. BMU's going to be happy about this, but Brandon Marsh started off the season pretty shitty on that Thursday. I think it was like 0 for 4. He came out and everybody's like, here we go again. Brandon Marsh, you know what I mean? We're stuck with this guy. And now he's 3 for 9. So on the past 5 at-bats, he's gotten 3 hits. The dude's been solid the past 2 days. So I do give credit to Brandon Marsh. I hope that he stays together with that. And Bohm, yeah, like it's one thing to have a bad day, but that's the one thing I'll say about Marsh. Like you don't see those freakouts that Bohm has. This is not the first time with Alec Bohm. You got to get your attitude together, man, because it's one thing to play bad on the field. It's one thing to act like a baby on the field too. And in this city, like we'll give you a little bit of leeway if you play bad. We won't give you any leeway if you act bad. That's the thing. You got to be accountable. You got to be mature. If you make a mistake, you got to just take it on the chin, move on. And as Jalen Hurts literally said, if I take a deuce, I don't sit there and stare at it. I flush it down the toilet, and that's that. And I think it's actually a really good analogy. I used to laugh about it, but in all seriousness, it is a good mindset of like having a quick mindset, being able to forget things and just say, hey, it's not that deep. Move on.
I'm laughing at this comment, but yeah, I just like Marsh is that kind of guy that like, you know, he owns up to his, like a lot of guys on this team honestly own up to their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like there's times where Bohm he doesn't do that. And maybe it's just me, maybe it's just what they show.
He doesn't. You're right.
I don't see like what's behind the scenes because obviously there's a bunch that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see. But I will say this. What you show to the media, what you show to the cameras is not painting you a good picture. It's just not. It's kind of like the same with the Eagles where, you know, there was a bunch of locker room drama that the media showed. We didn't see behind the scenes. And granted, it was really just like it was nothing. But again, the attitude you give off and the things that you do, like CJ Gardner-Johnson, AJ Brown, Darius Slay, right? Like the things that you put out there just doesn't paint a good picture for you. And I feel like Bohm is kind of in that seat where his attitude and facial expressions and things the media is showing is not painting him a good picture. So, I mean, like, that's really all I have to say about that. I just like I can see why they shopped Bohm so much this offseason and why, you know, they tried to get rid of him. And I think it was part of his attitude. But we'll see. I mean, he could still be a trade deadline guy that they get rid of. Like, that's always a possibility. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's kind of all I have for main topics. I mean, we're going to look at, obviously, looking ahead. But do you guys have anything you want to add about this game or about what's coming up?
Gab?
Yeah, one thing. Eric, I know you're not a Kevin Long fan, but what do you think he tells Bohm in the hitters about their approach when they go up to the plate? Do you think he's like, okay, stay patient, be aggressive? Like, what do you think he tells the players?
I got you. Ready? I gotta get into character. All right, boys, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the ball, and if it's low and away, I want you to swing, okay? I don't want you taking walks. It's boom or bust. That is the approach. It's boom or bust. We're not taking walks. We're not hitting singles, doubles, triples. It's out of here. It's out of here and nothing, okay? Boom. Look, I know you're the I give Kevin Long like a accent. I know you're he's just looking at Bohm and he's just like, I know that you're the double king, but in this instant, I don't care. I want you to take the first pitch, swing, and if you don't get it, Bohm, I want you to take your helmet off and throw it at the ground and cry like a little baby. That's what I want you to do. No, but in all seriousness, I don't know what Kevin Long's approach is. And it's just we've seen the past couple years where guys love to chase out of the zone. There was a pitch that Kyle Schwarber had that he could have walked and it was just way outside and he grounded out. So it's just to me, I don't understand. And granted, I don't that's not my job. My job is a complete different other field than baseball altogether. But I don't understand what is going on with Kevin Long and what he tells the guys. Because that's a really good question, Gavin. If I knew, I would tell you. But again, it's just we've seen the past couple years where Nick Castellanos, right? If it's a slider outside in the bottom of the zone, he's going to swing. Granted, I feel like the first couple games, granted, we're only 3 games in, I feel like Nick Castellanos has kind of backed off on that because he's walked a bunch. But also guys, like Bryce Harper, if it's high, if it's low, he's swinging. You got to cut down on that. And I feel like, and I say this every show, if you clean up those mistakes, you're walking in runs. Guarantee it. At least 1 or 2. Maybe not every game, but every other game, you're walking in a run or 2. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't like Kevin Long. You guys know that. You guys know I'm the biggest Kevin Long hater. But I just they got to fix something. And I'm going to leave it at this. And this goes for the entire team in general. You said at the beginning that if they don't make the World Series or really just a deep run in the postseason, that we're all going to be disappointed. And I think I would be more disappointed. If they don't make a deep run, I'm not going to be as disappointed as that. I'll be more disappointed if Dave Dombrowski comes out again and is like, okay, we're going to run it back again with Rob Thompson, Kevin Long, everybody else. So I would just that's what would bother me.
Fair point. I mean, that would be shocking if that happened again. They got, in my opinion, the little I know about baseball, which is not much, despite the hat. I'm sitting in the green room, guys, okay? But in all seriousness, they gotta try something different because it felt like this year we said that and then they didn't and we got swindled into this bullshit and now we're here. So if they don't do something different, if they don't, it's a minimum of make the World Series for me. And I know that sounds like a lot, especially game 3 in, but it really is with where they're at, the guys that they're playing, the talent that they have, their track record and what they've done. They should, could, and would be in a World Series, I think, in the next year or 2. But I mean, if not this year, they got to do something different. They really do.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the comments now because Moose, I appreciate you tuning in. You're always giving us stuff to talk about.
Moose.
But let me see. like Moose said here, it's we're heading backwards, right? We started at the World Series, then we got to the NLCS, then we got to the divisional, and now it's just I'm fully expecting a wild card loss. You're taking a step down each time. So we'll see what happens. But I just like Gavin. Did you have anything you wanted to add on the whole Kevin Long thing? Because I know you had asked.
Nothing much, man. Maybe it'll be time for a change, maybe a change of scenery. We shall see. He was on, the hook last year, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know if you know, but an update just came through that JT is ready to play tomorrow. He'll be good. Turner, they don't know yet. They said they're gonna take it day by day with him.
I mean, personally, I think Sosa is a better shortstop right now than Turner. Like, especially when it comes to errors and hitting, Turner's great, but I think Sosa is that guy that could step up to the plate if they decide to let Turner go. Not saying they are, but if they decided that. But it's great that JT is coming back. I really think that he just didn't play today because Sundays are usually his off day anyway. So they just want to give Marshawn some more playtime. So whatever. But looking at the upcoming series, Dalt, I know you're going to the game tomorrow. If you guys don't follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the socials, make sure you follow because Dalt's going to be at the game tomorrow. And I'm sure he's going to post some on-site reactions, food reviews, yada, yada. The list goes on. So make sure you do follow because those are always great to watch. Looking at probable pitchers, I know that they haven't announced yet. So let's see. Okay, it is updated. So I'm not going to go into tomorrow. I feel like that's kind of I've hit that on the nail. It's German Marquez against Christopher Sanchez, but if you need a breakdown, I've talked about that the past 2 days. On Wednesday, this is new because they finally announced who's pitching. On Wednesday, Kyle Freeland, he's a left-hand pitcher for the Rockies, against Zach Wheeler, right-handed pitcher. Kyle does not have an ERA yet. He has not pitched yet. Or sorry, he has pitched. He has 7 strikeouts, but his ERA is not updated, I guess, because it's showing for me 0.00. Zach Wheeler will be pitching on Wednesday at 6:45, the night game. They swapped Taijuan Walker because nobody wants to watch that. They figured that on Thursday would be a better time because the game is at 1:05. Nobody's going to be there. So on Thursday, it's Antonio Sensaleta. I think I said that right. I don't know. Against Taijuan Walker. So if you want to watch that, be my guest. I'm going to have to sit through and watch it. If you don't want to sit through and watch it, you don't have to. I have to sit through and watch it because I have to provide you with this excellent show. So, Gavin, I know you're going to the game. So good luck, man.
Thank you.
I need you to start a chant. Just say we want Turnbull. People are going to be like, well, Turnbull's not on the team, but you got to start a we want Turnbull chant. I'm sure people will just join in.
Andrew Pena.
You can even do that too. We want Pena.
That works as well. Yeah.
That works as well. But I mean, that's really looking ahead. The Phillies play the Dodgers on Friday at 6:45. So the Dodgers are getting so much glaze right now by the MLB. They're undefeated. They're 5-0. Woo. You go to Twitter and you look at the tweets that the MLB does for the Dodgers compared to other teams, you will see that there's so much Dodgers love and glaze and whatnot. But pitchers haven't been announced for that. I'm sure it'll be, I think, Luzardo that game. But it kind of throws me off because they switched Wheeler and Walker. So I'm not 100% sure who will be pitching that game, but we'll see. But yeah, that's really all I have. Like I said, Dalt will be at the game tomorrow. Make sure you follow socials. If you need anybody else to follow, Philly Shardy on TikTok, on Instagram, G Sweens09 on Instagram and on Twitter. We all, between all of us, provide lots of Phillies coverage, so make sure you follow us. And that's all I have. So on that note, we will be back here tomorrow. Again, 3:05 start, Phillies home opener, Christopher friggin' Sanchez on the mound, my dark horse, baby. I swear I better come here and just absolutely praise the guy tomorrow. But have a good night, everybody. We'll be back here tomorrow. And on that note, hit that outro.
The Vikings.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone. It is gone. It is Bedlam at the bank.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Can't hear you.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe. Go follow.